In today's video, I'm gonna show you guys the top 3 ways to catch a fish on a live worm. We're on a beautiful river here. We're gonna tie up some rigs, catch some fish. Hopefully you guys enjoy. All right, now the first way is extremely simple. All you do is you have your hook right here. This is a size 8. You can use a bait holder hook. I have these trout stinger hooks by Gamakatsu. I really like these hooks as well because of how sharp they are. And all this is tying a hook onto your line, right? So this is the line that goes up to the rod. All we're doing is a improved clinch knot. Put that here, clip your tag, and that is it. All you do is you can put a worm on that hook right there and start fishing. Now, sometimes I actually like to go with just half of a worm, especially if you're using a large nightcrawler. So this is the other half. All you do is you just break off one half of the worm, just one side, and you can just thread it in that hole that you broke off on that worm. Just thread it up the worm like that. I like putting the heavier part of the worm at the bottom. That way it doesn't slide down the hook super bad. Bring that up. And just like that, you've got a perfect rig to fish with right there. You don't want to loop the worm more times over the hook. You want that hook showing, you want it straight, and you want that hook right kind of in the middle or the bottom half of the worm. That right there is a perfect rig. Throw that out and catch fish. Now this way right here excels a lot better when you're in smaller bodies of water. So if you're in small creeks and streams, a small pond, you're going for bluegill, certain ways where, you don't have to go down super deep, the fish are right on top. This is a great way to do it because it's such a natural presentation. There's no weight or anything. Awesome for bluegill in ponds, bass in ponds, different ways. On this river, however, I'm fishing today, it's a little bit too light for this, right? The fish in rivers are typically going to be most of the time they're going to be farther down in the bottom of the water column. So something like this, it's just going to flow right over the top of them and they'll never even see it. So if you're trying to fish deep, this is not a great presentation for you. Okay, so following the rig that we just talked about here, we're now going to be talking about the split shot or drop shot rig. Both can work in this scenario. This time we're going to be tying the split shot rig. All you do is you take one singular split shot. This is just a small little lead weight here. You're going to take your pliers, whatever pliers that you need, and you're just going to put them in your pliers just like that so that the little slit of the split shot is facing up. You're going to take your worm. You're going to measure out about 10 inches or so of line from the worm to where you're going to add your split shot. You're going to put that split shot in the line just like that, and you're going to close it up, and all it's going to do is you're just going to cramp on the line like that. Now, if you don't want that split shot to move a lot, you're going to have to really press that thing down pretty hard, like I did there, so that it's not going to go anywhere. Now, no matter how hard you press these, you can most likely still move it with your hands if you want to, but I pressed it down hard enough right now to where it's not going to move when I cast it. So this is the next presentation. This is going to help you get down a little bit deeper in the water column. The only problem with this is you don't have a bobber or any way to know when a fish hits it. But we're going to see if this will go catch us a fish on this river here. Now the worm method tends to not do as well during, in like super fast water, but it will do really good on big deep pools because it's going to get down super quick. In this case, there's kind of a deep pool right in front of me here, and I can actually see a few trout swimming in that. So my goal is I'm trying to just drop it right in front of their face to see if they're going to pick it up that way. You can kind of watch your line like that. Got him. You can watch your line and see the fish pick it up like how I did there when the water's a little slower. However, when the water is much faster, right, it's going to be really hard to read that bite. Yeah, so like I said, this fish, I felt the line tick, so I got it right on the corner of the mouth there, so hook is out, fish is back. That case was very easy, but sometimes it is not that easy. Many times you're gonna gut hook fish. So one thing I also would recommend is throwing a barbless hook on, or just at least crimping that barb. That way, if it is a little bit farther in the mouth, it's a lot easier to get out and you're doing less damage on the fish. Obviously, if you're keeping it, doesn't matter. But if you are catch and release like I am today, catch and release with bait can be a little weird sometimes. I think that's how a lot of fish die. This is definitely the most skilled of the techniques because you have to be able to kind of feel that bite down there, but it can be very rewarding. A lot of times your largest fish of your trip are caught like this because, you know, you're on the bottom, right? Most of the time these split shots are bouncing on the bottom of the rocks, and typically your nicer fish, like this big deep hole right here in front of me, are gonna be farther down in the water column. Not always, but a lot of the time. Okay, so now we have our last rig here. This is my favorite of all three, and that is gonna be your bobber setup or your bobber rig. So right here, I have a very small float. This is by Trout Magnet. The reason why I use this one for the video is because it is very simple to attach. All you're gonna do here is you're gonna just undo that little black plastic thing in here, and there's a little slit in the bobber that goes all the way down. All you do is you go above your split shot, so you have your worm, your split shot here. You're gonna put that line in the slit of the bobber, move it up as far away from that worm as you want. I'm gonna go about that much right there. Take that black piece and push it as far in as you can. And that's basically, you know, the pressure between the two is gonna hold that float there so that it doesn't move. The nice thing is it's very adjustable, so all you gotta do is push that thing up. Now you can move it if you wanna go higher up, right? Now close it, and you just now adjusted the length of your leader. So you can fish basically any depth of water with this. You just adjust your bobber to, you know, whatever you need to fish it with. You can also add a little bobber stop here. There's a couple different types of bobber stops, but I like these ones here. You can add it below the float in case this float moves too much. Sometimes these little cheap plastic floats like this, they'll eventually kind of wear out a little bit and they won't stay put as much. You can put a bobber stop to keep that float pinned so that it doesn't move around on you. This rig right here, it's also extremely simple. You can mess around with lots of different styles of bobbers. I have here a rocket bobber, which is an awesome one. This is super heavy, and I've got a Mustad addicted fishing float right here, these balsa floats. This is probably my favorite float of all time. But you can mess around with whatever bobber you need depending on your style, your type of water. But this is one of my favorite rigs of all time to catch any fish. There we are. Ooh, nice fish down there. I don't know if you guys can see below him. There's a really solid fish down there. Cool. See if we can get this guy netted here. Oh my goodness. Got big old rainbow just chilling out underneath him there, trying to get some seconds or see what's going on. That is the cool thing about worms and bobbers, is with bobbers you actually get to watch it go down. So, you know, your odds of gut hooking a fish is way less because you're getting to set the hook right as he eats it versus, you know, you go, you know, bring it down and you didn't realize the fish grabbed it here. You don't feel him because he's just sitting there not worried about it, right? You know, you get to actually kind of set the hook, and it's very interactive. So, beautiful little bow right there. Send him back. How cool.